What's up, people? Sorry I haven't done a video in a few days, but today I have today it's I'm doing two videos. I'm gonna be doing the video I was technically supposed to do the other day, but later in the evening I will be reviewing The Wolfman, the 2010 one. I rewatched it on Monday. It's still a pretty good movie. I have some issues, but I love the werewolf effects. I do like that they go more into the werewolf lore. Anthony Hopkins and Benicio del Toro are great. I love the atmosphere. I love that the design was kind of it's like a good modernized version of the original design, right, from the 1940s. But I'll get more into the issues I have when we get into the movie. But right now, I am going to be going into basically, this is going to basically be like a part two of my Blumhouse video I did a couple months back. And I gotta say, Bloomhouse is so disappointing because they've done some good things. Obviously, the initial start of how they did the Halloween movies, obviously they fucked it up towards the end. I'm gonna get into that again. But obviously, Megan, I like the idea of what Bloomhouse is doing. This studio that's producing these low budget movies, but that are still decent. And when they were in the beginnings, that's what it felt like. It was like old school filmmaking again, where it wasn't relying on crazy special effects and this balloon budget, which unfortunately a lot of movies are suffering now, where every budget needs to be like 200, $300 million, right? But the problem I'm having with Bloomhouse is it seems like they do. I don't know if they've huffed their own farts or they've gotten lazy or it's both. Where it feels like they're just phoning it in, phoning it in now because they know their movie's gonna be cheap, cheap anyway, right? Like they know it's gonna be a lower budget movie, so they don't even have to give a shit about the plot as long as they know they're gonna get a profit back. As long as they can shit out these movies, that's what it feels like. we That's what it feels like we've gotten with Bloomhouse. That's what it feels like we've gotten with Bloomhouse now is just this phoning it in of they know they can just shit out a movie, little budget, and still get a somewhat of a return back because they know they're like the horror normies are gonna go see kind of any Bloomhouse movie, and that's what sucks because you look at a theater like A24, not everything they do is fucking a banger, but they at least try some stuff. Obviously, what they did with the, if you want to call it like the X trilogy, um, I don't remember. I think they were involved with Nosferatu. They did fucking. They're doing this new movie called Death of the Unicorn. They're doing interesting stuff, and not even just horror. Like the Green Knight wasn't horror. It was like more like a medieval kind of movie. I didn't see it, but I remember seeing the trailer and it looked interesting. Like they're doing interesting stuff, and they're actually trying to be creative. And the funny thing is, their movies aren't like a balloon budget either. I would say maybe I think they're probably a little bit more than Bloomhouse in terms of the budget, but I would say not by much. And I think that's what makes it work is that they just try out stuff, and it seems like Bloomhouse used to do that. Now they're just all they do now is half baked concepts where there's the idea in there, but they just don't give a shit. Like Imaginary, Night Swim. I didn't see the movie, but that Afraid movie with the AI house, apparently that was really bad too. It's like, and I heard the same thing. There was a cool idea there, but Bloomhouse didn't give a shit. It's so just like with Imaginary, that's like the one that actually had potential. This Chauncey the Bear, that could have been a new horror trilogy. That could have been a new horror character you could have added into the books, but they didn't do it. They wanted to be lazy, probably have an AI script. That's what I'm starting to think. That the scripts are clearly made by Chat GBT or something because these scripts are just so fucking basic. Basic family, nothing interesting about said family, just or characters at all. None of the characters are interesting. They're just your basic as fuck characters. We're not even gonna try with it. And that's what frustrates me because I think Bloomhouse could be really good. I mean, And then let's just get into, obviously, they fucked up Halloween. I mean, if we're gonna be real with Halloween ends, they have, I don't know how much damage to this point. We don't even know what's going on. I think Halloween, in a way, now is in a weird limbo. The last thing I heard is that I think it was like A24 got TV rights or something. But that's the last thing I heard about Halloween. I haven't heard anything else because this movie, because they really fucked it up. If you really look back, I like those first two, but even then, they played it too safe. That's a common theme. You mean Five Nights at Freddy's? I know a lot of people love that movie, but I found they played it very safe. That is what I'm seeing. Another problem with Blumhouse. They play it so safe now with their movies. They don't take any risks. That imaginary movie could have been something interesting, but it's like they gave out, like, I don't know if they ran out of budget in the end and did nothing with the imaginary world. You had the random lady turn evil in the end. That made no sense. Like, I'm gonna say it again, the main characters were not interesting at all. They were like almost AI written characters and AI written script. Same thing with Night Swim. It is like Bloomhouse trilogy of shit last year. And it just seems like that's what we're gonna get. And I'm starting to think now that Megan was a fluke. That, like, because even around the time Megan was coming out, that's when I was even kind of starting to get discontent with Bloomhouse. And it's even worse now because now I'm worried about Megan too. Because, to be honest, I like the first one, but I'm starting to worry. Was that a fluke? Was that by an accident? You happened to make a good movie? Because now I'm worried you're gonna just fuck it up in the second one. We'll see. I don't want to be negative. I would love Megan 2 to be good because I think Megan's a great character. You could easily make that like the new Chucky, because unfortunately Chucky is in a weird place right now after that show. So it's like, I think Megan, you could make that's the other problem. You have a bunch of potential horror franchises and you just fuck it up because you decide to go with AI scripts, like I mentioned, imaginary. Chauncey the Bear could have been another character you could have marketed. I'm not gonna count like Michael Myers and even Five Nights at Freddy's because those are licensed. That's already licensed IPs. But like Megan, you have Chauncey the Bear if you didn't fuck it up. Um, could even have another one if you really wanted to, but they don't try. They just want to phone it in. At least A24 does creative things with their movies. I don't love all their movies, but like I mentioned, they at least. And if you're gonna be honest, the X trilogy for the most part has been pretty good. Like Maxine had some issues, but I would still say it was a good movie. To where overall I would still say that's a good trilogy. So at least A24 has kind of shown they've actually were able to complete a trilogy, unlike with Blumhouse, and then obviously the stuff they do on their own. They clearly don't give a shit about their movies. They just want to make a buck, and there's nothing wrong with that. But at least give a shit with some of these concepts and actually make them a movie, and not just have ChatGPT come up with a script. Because if it's actually people writing this, it's even worse because it really does feel like AI written script. It does. Like the characters, every character in really any Blumhouse movie, oh, it's generic family. We're not going to really give them any interesting characteristics. Or, well, in the case of Nice, we have to remind you the dad's a fucking baseball player 20,000 times. But very superficial aesthetics and Blumhouse, you got to do better, man. And that's probably going to be what the title of this video is, because I like the idea of Blumhouse. I like the idea of you making these low budget horror movies and doing. I just remembered they did the Insidious movie, so it's like they kind of have their own franchises with Insidious. I think they also did The Conjuring. Actually, no, they didn't. Never mind. They did Insidious. So the Insidious movies are good. The original, the three. I have not seen any of the spin-offs yet. I'll eventually get to those. But it's like that last Insidious movie is what, 2 years ago? Now? A couple years ago now? It's a while ago. And I think that they're far removed from that. They just phone it in now. They don't give a fuck. And now with Megan, what? Are you gonna just have one good movie and Megan's gonna just be shit and she's never gonna actually be able to she'll never reach a Chucky status if she can't get past the second film. Yeah. I would like to put her in that, not like of the newer horror. I mean, Art, look at Art the Clown. You have new horror icons somewhat now. So you can do it. It's been shown you can do it. Megan could be it, and that first movie was good. But now I'm worried, thinking, yeah, that was a fluke. That was you accidentally made a good movie. Because if you fuck up the second one, and I'm gonna be honest, there's a part of me that thinks they are just because I don't have faith in them anymore. The shit they do, it's like I'm gonna say it. I think A24 can be that new studio that takes their spot of like the low budget studio that produces good horror. I think let A24 take that spot because I don't think Blumhouse gives a fuck. It's just about the money and it would, but the laziest way to get there. And it's sad because I think they could be a great studio. You know, like I said, they have made good stuff. The Insidious movies. If they didn't fuck up the new Halloween, that could have fostered a new era of Halloween movies. But nah, they fucked it up to where I think we're kind of back in limbo again with Halloween, like we were post Halloween. I would say Rob Zombie's Halloween. After that initial Rob Zombie Halloween was like in this weird limbo for a bit. I think that's where we are again. Good job, Blumhouse. You put Halloween back in the limbo area, which in a way that might be good. Maybe if I was Universal, I would just license out Halloween to another studio. Give Halloween to like A24. I think A24 would do an incredible Halloween movie. Someone like them, I think they would actually try. But anyway, this video isn't going to be too long. I just wanted to rant a little bit about Blumhouse. I'm going to keep saying it. It's so disappointing because they could easily be like the idea of them, these low budget horror movies, but that are actually good, but they don't need a giant inflated budget. And they can foster a new era of horror. That's initially what Blumhouse was kind of doing, and then they got lazy. And I just think they're going to continue to be lazy. And I think, unfortunately, it's going to suck. Because I'm going to say it again with Megan. I really love that first one. I'm worried we're not even going to get past a good first movie. Because if we get to the second one and it's shit and it's lazy, then it's just another Blumhouse flop where they can't get past the first movie. And nowadays, they were able to with the Insidious films, but unfortunately, those Insidious, you gotta remember, that first Insidious was 2010. So that was a while ago, and I think the second was like 2014 or something like that. So those were a while ago. And if you really think about it, we're in 2025. And in my mind, they had a shit 2024. Almost all their movies were garbage. I didn't see Afraid, but I've heard that was garbage in the review I've seen of it. Pretty much sounds like, oh, it's just another Blumhouse half-baked idea where there's something good in there, but they actually just didn't do anything with it. So, but anyways, we're the Wolfman 2010 movie review tonight, and then I'm gonna do some kind of action movie tomorrow. I just gotta figure out what, but then I'll be back for sure this week. I'm back tomorrow. Sorry, I've been kind of slacking on videos, but I will also tonight be on Pin Down Podcast. We will be doing, more than likely, going to be roasting AEW Dynamite tonight. I mean, I would love if they surprise me with even a mid-fucking show, but I'm just going to be honest. I'm not really holding my breath. So, we'll be doing our live recap of that, so look out for that. But other than that, I'll see you guys later tonight for the 2010 Wolfman review. But anyways, Blumhouse, do better. I would love for y'all to do better. I would love you, and if Blumhouse and A24 are both doing great right now, A24 is doing pretty good, but if they were both doing great, horror would be in a way better place right now. And I'd be more like, imagine if they never fucked. I'm just real quick before I wrap it. I just imagine if they didn't fuck up Halloween. If they nailed that last fucking film, Halloween, we could be in a new era of Halloween movies where maybe Michael Myers in a different timeline and we're not dealing with Laurie Strode anymore, and that Halloween would be healthy, because I think that's truly what I think Halloween needs to do, be healthy, but Blumhouse fucked it up. So anyways, let me get ready to wrap it here. I'll talk to y'all later. Look out for Pin Down Podcast tonight. We'll be talking about AEW Dynamite. Talk to y'all later. Peace.